Let me
Hey,
see if I can text Lorenzo.
this is my mailman. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, man, y'all know we back live tonight, man. We got the show, man, that we finna go live. Well, we already live, man. You know, I love to run my mouth. This is the show where you can be you. You don't have to worry about no BS. You don't have to worry about being censored. There's nobody that control what goes on the Mailman show. You know why? Run everything, and I invest money into myself to make sure YouTube can't censor me. Me, everything is gonna be ran on I. So tonight we got some friends on here, and we about to get ready and talk about how. Now this might make some people mad. This might ruffle a couple of feathers, and the whole intention is not to make you mad. It's just to bring some highlight to some of the things that's going on in the world. So I don't want nobody to get mad at the topic. I want y'all to have fun and join in the comments as we talk about it, and we're gonna really address something. So let's get into it. So tonight, my friend that's here, Jalisa, that's on here now, that y'all hear that's got all the noise in the background that's showing us the bricks. She's at her daughter track meet. But this week she had sent me a message about a podcast of some gentlemen that was talking about stepdads. And she had sent me over the podcast. It was from Cain and Abel. I definitely like to give everybody the props if I learn something. I always want to give people their props to make sure that I show them that give them their roses, that I don't never feel like nobody is getting left out. So Cain and Abel podcast is what she sent over to me. And the podcast was saying stepdads, stepfathers, are they suckers or are they saviors? That was the number one thing that they was talking about, and they had a lot of different opinions on it. And I have some opinions on it as well as my friends. So, without further delay, let's jump in it, y'all. Everybody, the topic: do y'all think stepdads are saviors or suckers? I'm gonna start off by saying I don't think that a stepdad is a sucker for dating. I don't think a man is a sucker for dating necessarily a woman with kids. I don't think that. Let me start off there. But I will say, what are the benefits of a man dating a woman with kids? Who want to go first?
Well, I'll start since it's quiet. Let's get it started. Um, I actually started. My husband and I actually were a blended family. We actually considered to be the Black Brady Bunch, but he had an older son. I have an older daughter and two girls, and I had an older daughter and two girls, and two of our children were the same ages. So we had four kids in college at the same time. It was funny. It was really just a lot of adjusting to blended families in different ways that people, garnish or how they raise someone in their family. So it's like was getting used to difference of opinions, just different everything. Everything was different for us. It was really different.
Okay. So you had to, was it more hard on the kids to readjust? Or was it more
Yeah,
hard on adults to readjust?
it was we were good because the crazy thing was we met in medical school. We actually sat next to each other. And we didn't know that our kids were already, so they already knew each other. But it was the fact that I was a new woman coming, not to say coming to replace the mother, but I felt like I was a new woman and she had to get used to me. She didn't know me. She didn't know, what I like or how I govern a home or however. It took a lot of getting adjusted to, and I understood exactly where she came from. So we had a conversation so
Now,
that she could feel comfortable.
now this was with the mother of his kids.
Yes, it was the mother of his kids. I told her, listen, I had a policy where I don't spank anybody's children. That was solely between the dad and the mother, but I did play a part in the disciplinary that didn't, involve any type of physical punishment. We didn't do that. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So that was something that we established between each other. That if it was something that was, that needs to be done, we can sit down without always having to bring physical violence in it or punishments in it. So it was something we talked about a lot.
Okay, so now let me ask you this from a woman's standpoint. Um, what do you think a benefit would be of a man coming in dating a woman that already has kids? what would be the benefit to that guy besides and I want to get a raw truth on it. Besides, because the way most guys look at it, um, I'm coming in, I'm spending my money to pay the bills for the house.
Uh-huh.
Gotta buy these kids clothes.
Uh-huh.
Um, I gotta help when the mom needs something.
Okay.
The financial aspect, like if I invest all this money into this household with this child,
Mm-hmm.
and me and this woman, we separate. Them kids have no ties to me. They're gonna automatically go with the mother, and I didn't wasted 5, 10, 15 years and so forth on.
Let me give you a little bit of perspective on it. I would not be here in Atlanta if it wasn't for my stepfather. I have no relationship with my biological father. It was not safe to be around him, even as his daughter. I've never introduced my children to my biological father. My stepfather was everything to me. He taught me everything. He said, "Kid, go to Atlanta and don't look back." My children know my stepfather. I don't like to say stepfather because it's just like it takes the weight. Um, they love my stepdad more than they love my biological father. They don't know him. I choose not to have a relationship with him for my personal reasons. But um, when it came down to the benefits of a father, it's more love. When it comes down to you have to figure out are you being a boyfriend or whatever? Are you coming in to be a man in the house? Are you coming in to love these children? Are you coming in to teach them something different? Because there's benefits to it all. Because like I said, I'm one of the ones who's a stepfather that would do anything for my stepdad. So you do have different classification of what kids look like, what they say. Let's just say what they say. What is a stepdad? When my children speak of their dad, they call him pop. There's no thing as that's my stepdad. They introduce him as their father, their dad, because you can have a father on a birth certificate and a dad in real life. So it's a different factor when it comes to that, and there's lots of benefits to it, I believe.
Okay, Wale, as a man dating a woman, do you feel like it's a benefit if you was to date a woman that already has kids, or do you lose more dating a woman that already has kids?
Um, that's a for me. That's technically it's subjective to the person in question. In the sense that when I say subjective, I mean if you're dating somebody, you're dating them for the quality, what they bring, and how they make you feel, right? And
Okay.
if they already have kids, definitely, if you commit to somebody knowing fully well they have kids, you're committing not just to her, you're committing to the kids as well. So now, how you work around it, and this is where I feel maturity comes into play, and that's a lot of things that's missing because having an understanding that it's hard. Maybe from what things you see around lately, you might just see I'm dating a female who's in her mid 30s or whatever age, and she's probably got a teenager. So a teenager has a relationship with the father, you know, basically first things first, letting that kid understand that you're not trying to replace his dad if that relationship is there, but making sure you become an ally to the child. Basically saying whatever mentorship you can give in terms of being the fact that you are going to be more present in that house if you're all living together and the kid's going to be there is important. So building a friendship, when you build friendship, a friendship leads to trust. When a child can trust you, the child can rely on you on probably telling you things if they have trouble, but also understanding that whenever that child goes through whatever, it's more around you not picking sides, around saying if the child does something wrong, you let the child know, but doing it with the mother involved, because that's where there seems to be a disconnect. So I would say it's not a matter of there's a benefit or a disadvantage to dating someone who has kids. It's basically what do you want as a person. If you're in the place where you can support to have someone who you're dating has kids and you can shoulder that the burden of being an ally, a friend, and also a dad. I usually don't like the word stepdad. Like when Jamaica was talking about it just now, I totally understand it because I think it diminishes the role which those people have because they're more mentors over time. Because being a father doesn't have to be biological. Yes, we know that's a scientific part of it, but a father could be a shepherd, a guide, a mentor, somebody who helps you envision life from their own perspectives and teaches you what you grow up to know and becomes like, oh, I want to be like you when I grow up. I want to be better. Someone who you can aspire to want to, look up to basically. So that person doesn't have to be someone who you give birth to you. So long and short, it's not a matter of there's a benefit or disadvantage. It depends on what situation you are in there and then, and who the person is there. And then. If there's an understanding with you and the person you're dating, and knowing that fully well, I come to the table with these kids.
Mm.
If you're gonna accept her, you're accepting her and the kids. And also remember, when you accept her and the kids have fathers or they have a father. That means you're also accepting their father as well. Now, whatever the relationship is with that father, that's where you manage it with her and not the way you want to manage it, because you don't cross that line and try and make it all about you unless you see that, okay, there's a need for me to like make adjustments and stuff. So there's a lot of benefits to dating people who have kids. It's all about where you are in life at
Okay.
right point in time.
Okay. So let me ask you. I heard what you said, and I want
Yep,
to. I'm throwing all this out here, but let me
yep.
throw this for the guys just watching. You said some great information. What you said was real good, but what you said more likely benefited the child. What is the benefit for you as the man?
The
What
benefit for you as a man,
what
basically.
do you gain out of that? Because you're gonna come in, the child ain't gonna pay your car note, the child ain't gonna pay your rent, the child
Hmm.
ain't gonna, so you're gonna come in and you're gonna be doing all these things, like you just said. You're gonna build a relationship with the child, you're gonna be a voice of reasoning for the child,
Yeah,
you're gonna be someone that the child can
like a mentor, basically.
trust,
Yeah,
all that. Okay, and that's great. That is great. That is a good thing. And
yeah.
you also said that anybody can be that. You don't even have to date the mom. Anybody,
Correct.
that can be
Yep,
anybody. But if
yep.
you, as the man, date the woman,
Hmm.
what benefit is it to you to take your income and put into the household to take care of the child that the woman had with the man that ain't doing his duties? But now you're coming, she laid down and made the baby with this man,
Hmm.
but now you are taking your income to take care of his responsibilities. You're taking
Okay,
your time to take care of his responsibility, your
okay,
resources. What benefit does it benefit you as a man?
okay. So I can only speak from my perspective. I can't speak for other men, right?
Okay.
Remember when I started, I said it takes maturity
Okay.
for you. If you're mature, you do not look at the bottom line as it's transactional. When you think about it being transactional, that's when you start seeing what's the benefit for me. I'm paying the car notes here. I'm the man of the house. You got to pay by my rules. Things like that. Yes, I can understand. If you're paying the bills in the house and the child comes there, they have to live by your rules and say, okay, this and those rules doesn't have to make that child uncomfortable, because that child is already uncomfortable because the child was put in this position not of their own doing, but the doing of their parents that had them. The
Mm-hmm.
child wasn't the reason why the parents split up or it didn't work. So
That's
you cannot force it on the child to say because that is, let the child suffer emotionally both ways. Emotionally not being having a home that both parents biologically get along, then has to deal with the emotional this instability of a man who's paying the bills, saying, "Oh, you got to do this, and what's the benefit for me?" Now, I'm gonna say something that might be a little bit controversial. You might all know this. Remember the story about the chick who had a child with a McDonald's or something, where
yep,
the guy bought McDonald's and stuff? I
yep,
have a person. So that thing, I saw it. Yeah. For example, if I have a child with somebody, how much is a Big Mac? Let's say $5. And I know he's got other siblings, two other siblings, let's say, for example. If I things don't work with me and the lady, and I have to take care of my son. First things first, how I was raised and where I come from. If you can understand that your child is going to deal with the fact that he already has siblings that are not from the same father and mother like him or her, you do not, I do not condone the actions of the lady, for example, but as a man, you should be big enough to say, okay, I'm buying something for my child. I don't mind buying something else for the other kids if I can afford it. That if you could not afford it, then it's a different ballgame. But you do not rub it in front of the mother and the child. You can either say, "Oh, I'm gonna come pick up my kid," and say, "Okay, you know what? I could only afford one Big Mac for my son. I'm gonna take him in the car. I'm gonna drive out somewhere and he eats it outside the house from the kids," because you do not want to make that child uncomfortable. Now, if something else happens on the side of the child with the other kid's father and stuff, then so be it. That's on him. But you have to teach your own child to understand that, hey, I did not do this intentionally because I wanted to do this. So I don't look at it from a bottom line standpoint. It's all about if you are mature enough to pay the bills, don't think about what's the benefit of this child saying, oh, because I pay the bills, that means the child got to go do this. You can always mentor the kid and let the kid know that, hey, as a man, things happen in life. You pay the bills, you do this, and that's where the maturity comes in. So you are dating, when you date a lady who has kids, you're not just dating her. Because when she gives you herself, she gives all of herself. And all of herself includes that child that comes into that relationship. If you cannot handle it, I don't think you should be in it.
Okay, all right. Let me stop you right there. What?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we just got Lorenzo that just got home. What's good with you, Lorenzo?
What's happening? What's happening? Sorry about being late, y'all.
Nah, you
You're
good.
always
So,
late, bro.
Lorenzo, I want to
I know,
introduce you to
right?
my friend Jamaica. The
The
truth.
mic seems down.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's like a little low.
Okay, let me. Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I want to introduce you to my friend Jamaica. She the truth. This young lady here, I've
Hey,
been
Tom.
How you
meeting her,
doing?
man. This young lady has been nothing but an angel of blessing, man. Very, 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 very sweet lady, man. So
That's right.
I love her to death. And Jamaica, this here is Loren's very, very good friend. I met through her. I got a friend named Mary that's supposed to be on here. Her, she introduced me to Wale and Lorenzo, two very dope people. Lorenzo, we travel together. He's very, very cool, man. So we got a great, great group of people on here. And Lorenzo, my homegirl Jalisa, I don't know what happened. She'll bounce back in here somewhere. She might have lost a signal
Mm.
while she was driving, and I'll introduce you to her. But the topic,
Okay, cool.
Lorenzo, is stepdaddies. Are they
Mm.
saviors or super suckers? And Jamaica, I want you to get your thoughts on what Wale said, but I want to give Lorenz a chance right quick so we can hear his thoughts on it.
Copy that. No worries.
Cool. So what's your thoughts on that, man? You know, you go out here, you working, man, you making your paper, you doing your thing, man, and then you meet this person, they got kids. Now you
Ooh,
like the person now. You like the person. Y'all been kicking it for a
right,
minute.
right.
Like them now. But here come the kids, man. You got to
I,
take care of the kids. Are you? What is it?
ooh. So I think all in all, it's subjective and it's based on person to person and that interpersonal relationship and what that person is in life. So for some people, depending on who that man may be dealing with, he may be a sucker because she might just be using him just to take care of the kids. But let's
True.
be realistic. There are also women out there who are good mothers, don't need
Yep.
a man to take care of her kids. And like Wale said, I wholeheartedly agree. When you step into a woman's life, you are supposed to accept all of her, just like she's supposed to accept all of you. So that
True.
means the kids as well. So do I think they are suckers? No. But do I think they are saviors? No. Equally no. It just depends on the situation and what that person is looking for. This is where communication comes
Comes in.
into
Yep.
play.
Okay,
So, and also too, I think men have to stop and realize that these women are not out here getting these babies alone. So
good point.
everybody's creating these single mothers. They blame it on the mother, but no one holds the fathers accountable either. So I personally think if a man is strong enough to accept another man's offspring and take them in as their own, don't treat them any differently, that's a very strong and self-sufficient and self-aware man.
Yep.
Okay, okay.
Preach.
I'm gonna shoot over here to Ja. Ja, you back now? Ja, this is Lorenzo. Lorenzo,
How you
this is
doing?
Lisa. She's somewhere in that dark picture. Jalisa.
She probably in the car driving.
Hey,
You gotta
hi
get rid of
y'all.
you
Hi.
gotta get rid of that cricket phone. I done told you about cricket, man. You gotta get rid of that
You
Stop. Leave cricket alone.
so you got on my nerves.
now. I'm just saying,
I am
goddamn.
in the woods. Trying to drive out of here now. I'm at the track.
I just see your lips moving. Yeah, we don't hear you.
My daughter.
When you get out the woods, we gonna come back to you. All right. All right. So, see the truth. Do you got anything to say about what they said?
Yes, I do. Everything is great perspective. You have to look at the fact that, like I said, being a stepdad or a dad doesn't, state whether what you're doing, what you're transitioning from, and as far as like money wise. Um, I say as a stepmom, I don't even like to consider to say that word stepmom. Whatever my husband, his children are mine. His children's mother are also my children's mother. You know what I'm saying? We have a great relationship. Matter of fact, we're going on a cruise. In June, me, the children, all of us are going on a family cruise together. It
Okay.
can be done. It's doable. It's not about what you're doing financially for the child, because I know fathers that do have biological children and they don't do anything for their children.
That's
And I
true.
know there are some dads who do more for the person who's not there as the biological father than the actual father does himself. I was one of the ones that when my I first met my husband, we decided that we would not introduce our children until we were serious. If you know that you're entering into a relationship with a mother, with a child, that you know that there's going to be different rules, there's going to be stipulations, there's going to be things that you can and cannot do. There's different things that are happening, and when you involve yourself, breaking knowingly knowing that this is the child, it's like you're expecting the mother to be like the gentleman said, what I said about the McDonald's incident. I would not come to someone's home not knowing that I could actually feed everybody. I'm sorry, that's just me, but I would find some type of way to include the other children as well. Children do have eyes. I've also been one of the people that I've done more for my stepfather than his biological children. And it was like, I always had a great relationship with him. And because of him, I'm here in Atlanta, and I said this all the time. He told me I couldn't even go to my biological dad and ask for anything, but I can go to my stepdad, get a car, my first everything. I just wanted to make him proud of me, and I did that. Working in the film industry, he told me, "Said kid, can go to Atlanta, don't ever look back." Never knew that Atlanta would boom so much in the film industry, but I just feel like stepfathers get a bad name sometimes. You know, as the one that you're not my dad. You get that feeling. You get jealousy between the siblings, because if most children want their biological father in the home with them, and when they're sharing their dad or however, it has to involve everybody. It doesn't just involve a stepdad. It just involves the stepchildren, the mother of their fathers, as he stated, the other family members that are involved. It's everybody that's involved. It's not just stepchildren. It's like everybody has an opinion. You spank a child, it's not yours, but you raised them. It's a different ball game when it comes to that. And for people who don't want to have children be a part of the relationship, they shouldn't date women who have them. Why waste time? Seek
Yep.
those who don't. Like my daughter told me, she said, "Mom, I don't want to date a man with children." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because I don't want to have to deal with the child's, the baby's mother, or the child's, the mother of the child, whatever. I don't
Hmm.
have to deal with it. I want to be his first child." And I thought about it. And I said, it's a good thought that you have for that. I said, but at the same time, you never know who you fall in love with. You never know, and if that person has a child, that's just part of the package. And if you don't, like I said, if you don't want to date a woman with children, then seek it somewhere else where there's no children. But you have to
Right.
have a heart. You have to have a heart to want to be. Like I said before, a father goes on a birth certificate. Anybody can be a father. But a dad doesn't have to be a stepdad. He's a dad because he stepped in the role and he wants to be. No one is forcing him to be there. He wants to be there in those children's life, in the woman's life. So obviously, you're there for a reason. What are you here for? Just to date the mom? So you have to really think about that
Okay,
when you're dealing with women with children.
Hmm.
that's a great. Go ahead, Jai.
In most cases, that's what it is, though. And in that podcast, from the other guys from Cain is Abel, that's one of the points that they made is that they're not. Some men are not there for the kids. They're literally there for the mom, and sometimes they feel obligated to play a part in the kids' life because their main goal is to get to the mama. They want the draws, and at the end of the day, that's what they gotta do what they gotta do to get the draws. Let's be real. So, um, and in that podcast, one of the guys was like, he feel like a man is weak for taking care of somebody else's child just to get the draws and whatever. But he also stated that he has kids of his own, and he doesn't feel like he should he should take care of that lady's kids if he's dating her. He doesn't feel like he should do anything because he felt like that would take money out of his pockets. It was horrible, but
Say this.
but
Oh my God.
Let me say this, Jai.
for real, y'all. I'm telling you, it was horrible. I was like, oh my goodness,
Jesus.
touching my pearls. Listen to the podcast. Look,
Wait a minute.
I was
Like
touching my
what?
pearls, y'all. I was like, ooh.
Would he?
But
If you take what he said, y'all, yeah, and I'm asking this question. Like she said, he said, "I'm dating you. I'm not dating your kid." Is he wrong for that? Because he is dating. He dating a woman. He didn't come in and say, "Hey, he wanted to date the kid. Hey, he wanted to date the kids." He came and said, "I want to date you." Them kids are their daddy responsibility.
True.
So my
But
thing
at the
with
same
that
time, like you
is,
said,
Okay.
in this society, it's a very patriarchal society. Can we agree on that? It's very patriarchal. It's
Absolutely.
in the man rule, and men, these men, especially these alpha men, these alpha bros, the passport bros, and everything, they believe a woman's place is supposed to be revolving around the household, the kitchen, and children. So if you want
Right.
to say that a woman's role revolves around the children, revolves around her children, when you step into her life and she has children, you have to understand that her world revolves around those children. You can't have it
Absolutely.
both ways. You can't
Right.
have it where it's just like, oh, nah, when I'm dealing with one, I'm just dealing with her, not her kids. And then when you get her knocked up, nah, you all about my kids. You
Right.
can't
Just
have it
yours
like
though.
that.
But
Okay, so
Take it.
they referenced Baby Boy on there. Y'all remember when Rodney came to the house or whatever? He was like, "Fuck that kid." Like they was like, our boy was like, "That's how he would be." Like, man, like, "Hey, little nigga," but he ain't never
Right.
yeah,
say. Yeah, that was
yeah.
horrible.
But look, okay, give an example. Creed 3.
Left and right, nice.
Would you raise another man's child? He asked me, he said, would you raise my child if I was deceased and I didn't know about it? And my to give an honest answer, like with Creed and Michael B. Jordan and Felicia Rashad, and this child comes,
Well,
and I have to love my husband enough to love his child that he cheated on me with. He's a reminder. You have to
right.
have a different type of heart. And he asked me, he said, would you raise my son? And I told him, yes, because the child didn't do anything. You did.
Mhm.
Right. Absolutely.
You did.
That's a lot of
I think
grace,
a
man.
lot of this comes from from pride on the men's side, and I was having this conversation too with my friend today. Um, and I keep saying this, and she agreed. I think most women are raised with the perspective of being wives and mothers, and most
Mhm.
men are not raised with the perspective of being husbands and fathers. They're not.
That part.
So it's kind of hard for them to step outside their roles. Like I said, that pride thing is all about the
Right.
self. It's hard for them to step outside what they don't know and to be something other than just, somebody who's gonna stick it in wherever they can stick it in.
A
Right.
bagel,
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I'm gonna
a
play
hot,
devil's
a hot
advocate here.
pot.
but
Go
this
ahead, play it. You good at it,
Potato
Wale. Play
pie.
it.
I'm gonna
Right.
play devil's advocate here. Just like what Lorenzo just talked about. It goes both ways. It could be the same thing. I don't think it's really that, but I'll just tell you, like the all core for me, and like every time I say it's always from my perspective because I can only speak from my own lens. your background, your values, what you stand for
Absolutely.
determines how you show up for
Right.
people.
I agree.
So I could be a good
Foundation.
guy all I want, and I could run into the wrong person, and she could be like the same kind of person who's not like raised to like think that men are or women are raised to be like moms, but just believe that, oh, men should like listen to your beck and call. And there are ladies out there like that feel like a man can't tell them what to do,
Right.
can't tell them no. Don't believe that when something happens, they're quick to like tell you like, hey, get out of my house or whatever. Just like you have men who are outside as well, who are the same way. So it's all about the individual. Like if there's a value system that tells you like, okay, what does it matter? Like if you're dating a female, goes back to the same question. If you cannot date or if a woman has a child and you feel like, oh, I'm gonna just date you, but let's leave the kids out of it. I just don't think you're mature enough. And I think
Exactly.
you're
Right.
in it for the wrong
Most of it.
reasons.
I think
You're in it for the wrong
Job
reasons.
said it earlier when she said they said on the podcast, if a man is dating like dealing with the kids just to get in the mother draws, that's weak. That is so weak. If
I
you can't
agree.
stand on your own too and
Yes.
get her on your own, you have to use a child to get some pussy. Like like
Right. I
you
definitely
weak.
agree. Absolutely. That is a weak man. Absolutely.
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 Okay,
Absolutely. I
let me ask
totally
you this.
agree. Now, Wally, I do agree
Yeah,
with you about
yeah,
foundation. It's all about
yeah,
foundation,
yeah. And I,
values,
so
morals.
and and this is my thing. It's very easy to smell a rat from afar. Like you can tell. It's all about what you stand. If the female's gonna like allow a man walk over her that way and say, okay, I'm gonna like you definitely know what boys be up to, or men be up to, just like the same way men know what females be up to. A guy could have a child. I've seen good men out there who probably have a child and they're all about a kid. And a girl be like, oh man, sorry, bro, you got a child, I can't do that. But they'll still date him because of what he brings to the table. But when it comes to the issues
Right.
regarding that child, they'll be like, they don't care. They probably treat him like shit. And all he's just trying to look is because he's just trying to like, because, you know, and I'll put this here, the statistics shows that it's harder for men to recover, especially when a man goes all in to a relationship, to recover from that relationship. If a man commits, he commits all to it. Then if he gets played like a fool or treated like trash,
Uh,
it affects him and it
Oh,
breaks him. It's always hard for them to recover. Same thing goes for females. For ladies, I hate using the word females. Let me use this for women.
okay,
If women feel the same way too, it's easy, but we like people say women are more emotional.
they are not.
But it's not. I don't really
That's a
agree. I
that's a
think
fact.
men are very Everybody. It depends on who you deal with. Men are emotional as well, but it depends on how do you control your emotions. I just feel like if you're gonna be with somebody, either male or female, they got kids. If you know you're not all about getting involved in that child's life and you can't be a positive impact about it, don't even bother venturing into it. Don't go into it because that's what's going to tell if you're an upright person, if you stand up, or you're like decent individual. Because I feel like like what Jamaica talked about, like she's like has a blended family kind of thing going on. I salute that a lot. Like I see those kind of things and I salute it because that tells you that there's still hope. Because all that animosity is not there, but kids see these frictions, and that's what shapes what they become or what they do when they grow up because they see that their mother and dad bicker, they just think it's okay to treat a woman that way because my dad treated a woman
Right.
that way. And if they see
Right.
a
Hmm.
woman treat their father this way, they'll think it's okay to do that. Kids, like just like racism is not taught, right? Racism is not, kids are not born to be racist. They're
They're
taught
taught.
to be racist.
Right. Right.
Okay,
So it's just the same thing with character and all this kind of thing. So I believe that if we want to change, we just have to address how
I,
we just show up.
I like that.
Exactly.
Okay,
Well,
let me throw this out there though. Let me throw this out there.
Yeah.
mhm.
I hear it's great, and everybody, I'm gonna say this though. What about the women that go out there and knowingly make bad decisions? It doesn't matter if they made it at 21, 23, 24. They knowingly went out there and made a bad decision. They was dating a guy that already had kids before they had children. But he was a little. He could have been a local dope boy. Or he could have been a local hustler. Whatever he
Or the
was.
future.
Yeah, any future, any one of them. But if she only go out there and date him, no, and get pregnant by him, and know he ain't already taking care of the 6 kids he already got, you gonna add a number 7 on and be the number 7. But then now you gonna want to go over here and, as they say, find a Russell Wilson and get your Russell Wilson to raise
Who hurt you, honey?
these 7 kids.
So,
Well,
so on the Russell Wilson tip,
well,
I think like on
but those,
on that perspective. Oh, go ahead, John.
no, go ahead, baby, you fine.
I think on that perspective, I think it's two different perspectives. I think some of them do know, but a lot of these young ladies, they get sold a dream and they get caught up in the dream. Because let's be realistic, those men who have 6 different baby mamas, 14 different kids, they're very suave ass niggas. Like they're very charismatic, and these women, they buy into the dream of what they're selling because they are selling the dream to get into the draws yet again. Let's be realistic. Nine times
Okay.
out of 10, they do. So yes,
Well, let me ask you this, Lorenz. You're right. Okay, so they selling the dream to get into the draws. But at what point do you understand it's a dream? I know
When
they
you wake up, when you wake up, when you wake
Can
up,
I object on that?
when you wake up.
nine times
Can
out
I
of 10,
object
too
on that?
late.
I don't consider it to be a dream. It's more of the fact that you need to do your homework.
Exactly.
Like if you go, like you said, women intentionally make these decisions with men. First off, like I stated to you, before I even introduced my children to a man, I had to make sure that me and that man was compatible. Okay,
Absolutely.
I had to start with me being compatible with him. It wasn't just the fact that you having multiple kids on top of that. You have to be as a mother. I'm not. I'm not looking for another man to tell me what I'm supposed to do for my children. As a
Right.
mother, I protect them at all interests. I'm not going to introduce you into my children's life knowing that you are a 1 week man or a 2 month man
Right.
or whatever. I'm
Right.
gonna hit that thing in the middle of the night. We're gonna call it a deuce, call it what you want to call it,
Right.
because it saves time. If you know that you are not here to be family oriented, why are you playing the game? Even if you like
Why
the
even pursue
woman,
a woman with
what
kids? Like that's
like
crazy.
why are you playing with why are you playing the game of, well, I'm gonna do this just so I can get, you're there for a purpose. You're there to get something.
And that's
So
what I was
it's
Right.
saying.
like
I
it's
blame it
a
on
give
both
and take.
sides.
Like you're there to get the pennies, true, okay, whatever. But then at the same time, she has kids. The kids have to go to school in the morning. The kids have to be fed. So you have to look at the real key factor of what is it that you're seeking. Because sometimes some men don't be there for the mom. Let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk about it. And but I give you a prime example. Y'all may not believe. My nephew is the guy who on in Kentucky who went to the CBS and shot the girlfriend and the boyfriend because he had been also being, she had 4 children. He got attached to. My nephew is now first aggravated murder, 2 aggravated assaults, a 1 time, and also a criminal mischief. He scored a 62 on his ASVAB test and was headed to the FBI. Okay, you can look it up on Google. You'll see. That's my nephew.
And,
That's all plaques across the United States. He wanted to
and
love somebody that
right.
had children because as a child he had issues with parenting as he was growing up. Okay, but at the same time
And
he
see, that's
wanted
fear
love,
though.
and this lady
But
got
that's
with him. He
fear.
don't have no children, and when she played with him, he went straight into CBS and like I told the mother today. First off, this is my nephew, but wrong is wrong. I can't condone that. I can't go, well, she wrong because she cheated. You harmed somebody.
Right.
Let's go with accountability. And that's why
It's
I tell people, if you're not ready to be who you say you are, don't put the joke on the table if you're not gonna play spades.
Yeah.
right. And
You know
that's
what I mean?
But
Because
I think
it's a
that's the
very big
fear.
lack of accountability in the community.
and see, and that's the thing that I, like I said, and I made a pact with my husband. Regardless, if we go our separate ways, they're gonna always be able to come home to me. They're gonna always be able to have a house, a
Right.
roof to come home to. I'm gonna always be their mama because I made a vow with God that these are my children. So whether you go left or right, they're gonna always have a relationship. and nothing can come between them.
But I think that's the fear that most men have, though. The fear is that they get attached to these children, and then when the relationship severs with the woman, then it's they're asked out. They don't. Some women don't allow their children to still have a relationship with that man who played that father figure. And
Hmm.
let's put this on the table. Let's put this on the table. The person that actually started this whole men are stepdaddies are weak was a woman. She did this whole thing about how men are weak for taking care of other people's children, and that was one of the
Hmm.
reasons why. And I don't agree with it. I don't believe that.
Let me
I believe that's a strong man, but you have to be strong in order
Josh,
to do that. Huh?
let me ask you this. You brought I had forgot about that. You brought up a great point. So it wasn't even the men that said stepdaddies are weak. Women say that stepdaddies are weak. So
Yes,
if women,
it was.
women feel that way,
That was a woman.
yeah, well you
Hey, woman, not say women.
A woman.
It
Correction, it's plural.
okay, a woman
Let's
spoke
get
that.
into it. Let's do it. Let's get into it. So toxic masculinity. That's where all this is stemming from. A lot of women. I'm not gonna say a lot, but there are women out there that subscribe to toxic masculinity and want to because they have been raised that is the ideal man. Men who don't give a shit. Man, they're nonchalant. Man, that
Right.
around here sleeping around. We remember the woman that. We remember the back. It was like 10 years ago, back on Twitter, when a woman was like, "I don't want no man who can't pull no other bitches." Like there
Right.
are those women out there. There are those women out there,
Right.
and I think that's what is driving this toxic masculinity and fear on the other side of men. They're having a fear that their masculinity is going to be attacked, and that is a man's worst fear,
Okay.
especially a heterosexual man. That's his worst fear, that his masculinity is going to be questioned. Don't no man, especially no nigga, want to be called no bitch. That will
Right.
eat at his soul. And I think also too, what is going to drive that is that thought coming from other men. If other men drive this as the norm, that hey, it's okay to take care of somebody else's kids as long as you are in a healthy, loving relationship, yada yada yada, that would become
Right.
the norm. Men don't do this, all this flexing for other women. I wholeheartedly believe they do it for other men.
You think that
That's just
hold on, you think that the men do the flexing for other men?
1000%.
Absolutely.
So you feel like that fact that they don't want to be so I guess they don't want to be embarrassed? You think that they so
One
they
thousand percent.
This is a follower. Like the way that men are now versus how men were when I was growing up. Men do a lot more following than leading. So if my homeboy don't feel like, what I'm saying, like this is how it should be,
Preach on
then
it.
I'm
Preach
sorry.
on
that's
it.
what it is. Like it is. It's the following. I've never seen this
I can
before.
give you a prime example.
Never.
I can give you a prime example. Like if a man is like getting dressed to go out with his boys and his girl tell him he look good, he gonna go out. But as soon as his boys say, "Oh, you look dumb as shit," he going back inside to
Yeah,
change.
he going by the
It,
change.
that
He
that
going back
part.
inside to change.
hey, I was
Right.
a man
It's
was
not.
once my girl said I'm good, why would I have to go change?
But
Most
I,
that's
men
that,
just
they
that,
want
that's my man. I shine
they
my
get
man's shoe.
uncomfortable.
yeah. But this generation is totally different.
And
Totally
you are
different.
and
I
Josh, you
mean,
speaking on it like when my I tell people this all the time. My grandfather, he's
right.
not my biological grandfather, but
Mhm.
he was a shit man. He was a shit man, but
Mhm.
that was a husband. He took care of my
Right.
mother. That's not his kid, but he took care of his mother.
Mhm.
He took care of
Right.
my mother. He took care of his kids. He took care of the household. My grandmother didn't have to ask him more than once to fix something in the house. He was getting on his hands and knees fixing it or calling somebody else to do it. Her car
Mhm.
maintenance, she didn't worry about that. He took care of it.
Right.
She never worried about it. So
And you got men
that's
now that can't even change a damn tire. Don't know where the oil's at.
no, but see what I'm
They
learning.
want partnership. They don't want marriage. They want 50-50 now. Okay. They want that 50 now. Let's talk about it.
So
Right,
it's
All
but
right,
the
let
difference
me ask
is
you all this. Let me
women
ask
are
you all this.
changing the
Since
tire and putting the
that's
oil in, and they trying to figure out which one is the fluid. Like
that's
it's
Right.
crazy.
But
that's a
my
good
big
point
and
though.
my
She just
question
brought up with
too.
the 50-50. Let me ask you, is it a problem for a man to ask, hey, okay, if you bringing kids to the table, saying, hey, look, you bringing kids to the table, they ain't my kids, we gonna split these bills 50-50. Everything we do 50-50.
That's
Fifty
insane. You
fifty
know what?
fifty
Is this,
fifty
you
don't
asked
work.
that question, Bill, man? You said, is it? Is it? See, one thing about it, me as a woman, my husband gets up every morning. He's tired. and he walks out that door, it bothers me because I know that he has to come back. It's a miracle coming back in the door the same way he walked out of it.
That's true.
To watch him get up day after and day after and to provide for me, I have an issue with that because I believe in working. I believe in work. It's not a woman's in the kitchen and a man is at work. It's a partnership. Because when I get ready to leave and go on a cruise out the country, that's money that we brought in together. When he gets ready to go with his homeboys to vacate and do whatever, we don't have no problem, no squabbles because, like I said, it's like two heads are better than one.
Absolutely.
Okay, when
And
he
if it's
don't
a
have it,
problem,
Mama got it. My husband take off work for 6 months. Mama got it. I got you. Just go. But you become now the role reverse. You get to clean them. Now you get to see what you request of me.
Mm-hmm.
I work, and some women work and still have to provide and come home and cook and do all the other stuff. So we gonna talk about that. We'll be on here all day today.
All
But
day. And that's why I say it's never 50-50 because the woman will go to work and then woman and man go to work, they both come home, but he'll sit on his ass while she cook, clean, deal
right,
with the kids, deal with him
right,
emotionally, fuck him,
oh
suck
my
him,
Lord, I
do
love
all this,
you.
that, and the third. Like, how is
right.
that 50-50?
And then
It
that's
ain't.
the expectation that men have for women, and it's like because they have this mentality of, oh well, I'm the table, but what are you really? Are you bringing the table? Shit, or what are you putting on it? Because I ain't
Right,
even,
and I make more money. The thing is, I make more money than my husband. I work longer hours than my husband, and I still have to come home and lay his clothes out, get his underwears out, make sure he's up on time, make sure his phone is charged, make sure he gets to work, he's eating. All of this in my 24 hours. You only get 24 hours in a day. I work most of the time 15 to 16 hours a day.
listen, I run
I
too.
work
I'm a
in the
single
day, he
parent,
works at night. We meet each other on the weekend. We miss each other. We get an
right?
opportunity to say, okay, Saturday is our day, no matter what's going on. We have an anniversary every week.
Okay. All right. So let me
Look,
throw
Jamaica,
this.
So,
Jamaica just
so
said
while
something that sparked me. Like, she should have said something
Go
that
ahead.
sparked me. I have a question now because it's burning in my mind. You just said that, you come home and, you do all this stuff. Do you think that another driving factor between like behind this whole stepfather thing is that because I've heard the argument a lot that men don't want women, they want mothers.
It,
So
I'm naturally
is
that.
these mothers is these mothers like men get
Let's talk
get
about it.
these women that
Let's
have
talk about
kids
it.
taken
Because,
away from the motherhood that they would be able to get?
well, let's talk about it. Who, besides your mother, who loves you more than your woman? Besides your children, your mother, your woman takes on the role that your mama once took care of. Because when it comes to us, we don't get the same plate that we give.
again,
Hmm.
And I said it again, we don't get the same plate that we give. We give bigger plates, but we receive the bare minimum. But we don't get the kudos that that the stuff that we work hard for and do. We get the complaints sometimes. The chicken ain't seasoned good enough. We get all that crazy stuff back.
let's
When it
get that
comes
plate
to
in.
mother, when my husband gets sick, he turns into a big baby. He's
Right.
extra. His cough becomes extra. he becomes he becomes so frail and so brittle, when he's sick, because that's where when his mother, when he was sick, his mother would come to the comfort of that for him. So I try to be a nurturer anyway because I'm a cancer. I'm nurturing by nature. But at the same
Cancer.
time, when I'm sick, it's not the same in return. When I when
Right.
I I'm still required to get up sick and go to work
And
and
that,
and twerk on that thing a little bit. I'm for the
yeah,
old boy 18 years old young fire. But I'm still required that if I got stomach cramp, something else, you got to give something else.
yeah.
Okay, whatever.
So,
let's be 100 and let's be 21.
okay.
We're
So
Right.
still expected to
So,
be
you don't
right,
think
that
you
nurture.
and,
don't think that
and
men
what that
cater to women
is
as much as if a woman is sick, you don't think that a man cater to y'all just as much?
No
no,
sir, no
but
sir,
even,
no sir.
but the reason why is because most women like you and myself, like, okay, baby, we're deemed as strong women, and
Yes.
so we can handle it. And so that's the persona that we take on, of course. And so men or any person that see you, they think that you could take more than what they can. because
Mm-hmm.
you can handle this, you know.
But
I was
I
listening,
think we
and while I want to go back on some things, it's
okay,
something I
I
think
think
you said earlier.
sick. We'll cater to y'all. If you down and sick, we'll go in there and keep the kitchen
So
clean.
you, so
Honey,
No, Reggie,
we literally got
you
to be
will.
dying. We literally got to
Reg,
be dying for you to do that, though.
exactly.
No,
It's like this is the
I
Xbox
don't think
game,
no, I don't mind
NFL,
that
and
shit.
your girl.
I
Who
go
you think gonna get taken care of?
okay.
Right.
Xbox.
Say it again. Ask it one more time, Jay. Ask it one
Huh?
more
I said you got the Xbox, the NFL, and your girl coughing in the room sick. Who gonna get more attention, the TV or the girl?
my girl.
See, you lie. That
Thank
What
you,
game
baby.
gonna be
Thank you, baby.
that
We got
game.
us the honest one. But no,
no,
seriously,
no, no,
the
because
thing is, you
watch
teach people how to treat you.
Right,
That's a very
absolutely.
important factor.
But when
If
you're
you
so
know, if you
focused
want, like I said,
on,
if like I told my husband, he said to me, he said, if you want me to do more for
thank
you,
you.
just say it.
But like right, and so you have to ask for the you have to ask for the reciprocation versus it being,
Give it.
um,
Give
right,
it.
absolutely freely given.
I,
Give
Um,
it.
okay, let me ask you, Wale, would
but
you just freely take care of your woman? If your woman is sick, do
Don't
she
ask
gotta
Wale.
ask you to take care of her? Or do you just
No.
automatically come in the house and say, baby, sit down and relax? You ain't gotta worry about nothing. Just I'm gonna cook the food,
but
I'm gonna clean the
but
dish
is your woman? But
house.
it depends on the type of woman. Is
You
your woman
have.
that is your woman that woman that's going out working 12 hours a day? Every time you sick, she's taking care of you. She's doing X, Y, and Z. She's that strong woman who never really need anything because she's always got it going. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you have those type of women in your life, it's kind of hard for you to decipher when that woman really needs for you to be
No, no, I
that
Right.
person.
because you
You're
should be
right.
Unless they're
You're
really,
so
unless
right.
they're really
as a
paying
man,
attention.
if my woman is going
Listen,
out and she working all these hours and putting this work in and she's sick, I should automatically know, okay, baby, you sick. Go ahead and chill out. I got it. Now, I'm asking you, Wale, would you do that instantly or do she got to ask you for that?
Yeah, Wale.
She doesn't need to ask. It's naturally I would. Like
but
if
naturally
I
you
tell
would. But this
But
generation
it's
though,
not
Ray.
everybody.
so I tell like let me address the issue about this generation and everything. Like it all goes back to the three things was touched about. Like Jamaica was talking about saying she makes more money, she works more hours, and she still does the clothes, like make sure a man good, is straight, and all
I
that kind of
shot the
stuff, right?
shoes. I shot my
Exactly.
man's
She's not
shoes.
shoes. She, if I'm your girl who's gonna shine my shoes, like I'm gonna like tell that girl I love you every morning, like yo, thank you, blah blah blah, kind of shit. But but
But
on a
you
more
would
serious
think
note, but on a
you
more
would
serious
think
note,
that,
I tell people like there's a drift in the way society views
right?
attention and
Mhm.
how people show up. Men
Agreed.
are
Agree.
naturally
I agree.
weaker mentally than women. I tell
and
females
emotionally, and emotionally.
emotionally, no, that's what I'm saying. A woman is stronger than a man. 100%. People think physical strength, no. Mental strength and emotional strength, a woman has it over a man. When God created man and woman, he had a reason why he made a woman because he took her out of that most important part of him.
I don't know, Wale. Now, that's kind of strong. That's a strong
No,
statement.
We're
no, I'm
not
gonna
gonna
say, I'm gonna
start the
say this.
night on
Oh,
that.
nigga.
No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
Okay,
I'm gonna
Wale,
say
you
this.
better
You
No,
know
start
why?
some
Wale,
shit.
You know,
hold
All
on.
you know why?
right.
No, let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish so you understand what
All
I'm saying.
right, I'm gonna listen to you because you make
Let
this
me
a
finish.
strong statement.
No, no,
Woo!
see, the reason why I say this, put five women in the same room and put five men. Four of those women would tend to be more like mentally and emotionally mature
Yeah,
than four of the guys.
absolutely. I agree with that.
Why? Because women were built to resist pain and
Right.
take pain.
Yeah.
That's why they can carry a baby and they can labor. Try that
Right.
shit on a man.
Okay.
Like put
Gonna
those, just
fold.
plug it
Gonna
on a
fold
man.
every single
They,
time.
they, they be like, oh, on level three, they be like, hey, take this shit off me, that kind of stuff. But why I'm saying this is women can automatically, society subjects women, but now it's changing. Women now see,
Because we
okay,
Right.
were
fine.
hidden so much. We
Like,
were
yo,
we
yeah,
were hidden
exactly.
away from so
Exactly.
much.
So women are now changing. But I tell people like if a man, like technically, if your wife or a girlfriend, your lady is sick, there's no need for someone to tell you I'm sick before you show up. you gotta show up because it's the right thing to do. When you're
But
down, she gonna hold you down. When she down, you gotta hold her down. If she, a job is okay, not a job. I take that back. If you come back from work and normally you come back from work and she's like, "Hey baby, welcome home," blah blah blah. Your food's on the table, everything's all squared up. Then you come back one night and food ain't on the table, and you see her like on the bed, on the couch, or something, feeling sick or down. Then you gonna take that one opportunity to say, "Oh, why my food ain't on the table?" And she's like, "I ain't feeling so good. I'm sorry." Like that kind of thing. Then you spaz out because of that and say she ain't cutting it.
That.
You're an ass. I know usually cuss as well.
Period.
You're an ass for
Because
that. You're an
I
ass
love
for
you,
that.
Wiley. When the book
Because
is coming out? When
technically,
is the book coming out, honey? Yes.
you be like, okay, all right. Have you eaten? My first and second, are you eating? You good? What do you think? What's wrong with you? It might be that time of the month. All you can say, all right, don't worry, I'm good. I got myself. Go take care of yourself. Cause she be holding you down the days before. But you gonna take that one day that she don't show up and use that to judge her. That's why I
But
say
that
men are mentally weak and emotionally weak. So men who
and
act
you're
like
Exactly.
that
right. You're right.
are not men. They're not men. They're
Because see,
kids.
and I don't mean to
They're
object
kids.
to them, but we women, we women, I say women, I said it strong. We
Yeah.
women, see, I'm the type of woman that when my husband is sick or my loved one is sick, however, I'm gonna find before you go to the doctor. You don't even have to go to the doctor because I'm
Yeah.
medically trained anyway to take care of.
right,
I
right.
always wanted to be that one that I can sew his pants, I can sew his clothes, I can wash his clothes on hand if the washing machine is not working. I come from an old cloth. This talk about me 50 years old. But like I said, I come from when my mother would iron my dad's underwear because everything on him has to be perfect.
Where
And
to
I
be
wonder
good.
why
Right,
he
Underwear
right.
with
cared for her
grease
so
on it.
much.
Yeah,
And he
Absolutely.
did so much for her. And it wasn't, she
underwear with
said,
starch.
y'all young girls nowadays, if it went for McDonald's and da da da, I can go out there and grow my husband a meal from the ground, from seed, from
Listen,
knowing how to cook from scratch and not have to be worried about that process, what it called this
absolutely.
process environment that we live in.
Right. And listen,
And
I'm 34 years old, and that's how I was raised. And my son 97 pounds, and he
exactly,
only 7. So he honestly get a home cooked meal every day, and
a
I,
wholesome,
I don't.
exactly,
Okay,
You know
let,
some
exactly.
you
let
know
me
you
let
know
me
some women out there we're gonna say what Jamaica does and say how like yo oh man like honey man girl you man I ain't got no man gonna get that from me because they don't have their values are different.
Exactly,
Well,
So
that's because
I
exactly,
say do
children. I feel like
do
that's
what
because
works for
children are
you.
raising children at this point. Like
that part,
Exactly. So
that
it
part.
goes back to
like
what Taurus was talking
parents these
about
days.
sorry, go ahead, Ja.
No, you're good. I was just saying, like parents these days are really not raising their children to. I mean,
Exactly.
being a slut, like being a hoe, is like really like is being glamorized. You know what I'm saying? Like dressing,
Right,
Yeah,
something
right,
to
well,
get
that's
with.
what society sells.
ain't
That's what sells
that
these
what
days.
everybody riding around to the city girls?
right.
Listen,
Let me tell you, I'll ride
today,
around. The one thing I'm proud of
Ain't that what
is
you
the
ride
fact that I have 3 daughters. All 3 of my daughters have been have graduated from college, been educated through high school. They don't have
Round
children.
of applause.
They don't have no
That's good.
children. None of
Round of
my
applause.
daughters have
Hey,
children because they watch me. And I always tell them,
exactly.
before you bring a child in this life, you need to at least know how to love yourself. Because if you don't know how to
right?
love yourself, you can't love
You can't love this,
anybody
right?
else. And what that means
Absolutely.
is I could tell you all day I love you, but if I don't love me, I truly don't love
Hmm.
you. I truly don't.
Yeah.
Because in order to love you completely and whole and naturally, I need to know how to embody myself. Because there's pieces of me that
Yeah.
may be missing. But it also goes to the fact of not just like you said, these city girls and all of this and that. I dared my daughters to get on a I dared
Amen.
my daughters to get on a twerk video. I dared
Amen.
them to shame me as a mother, as a mother, as if
And
you
you know
haven't been
what?
raised. I remember getting
That
busted in the eye for wearing when Ti was the left eye came out with the condom on her eye, and it wasn't that I was saying I was having sex. I was just caught up in what of the height.
yeah.
Man, let me tell y'all. To this day, I can't see with this eye. I mean, when she said, "Oh, you want to wear a condom on your left eye?" Man, listen. With the way I hollered and went to school for
That's the
6 months
thing.
with a
That's the
patch
thing,
on my eye looking
Jamaica.
like Rick the Ruler, I learned from that very day. Like I said, I have 6 children. All my children are grown. I only have one grandson. My oldest son, when he had his son, he left my home. One, I didn't play my husband. I never allow his friends to come over because sometimes, like I said, they don't come over to see the mama. They see the children too. And I told him, when his friends come over, I would leave the house. Oh, well, someone,
Right.
why you leaving? I would leave my house the same way he would leave when my friends came. Because see, out of sight,
Right.
out of mind. First off, I was never the type of woman to go to another woman's house with her husband. If we did anything, we did it all together as a unit. Second of all, when it came to like when it came to comes to children and relationship with men, you just can't be so quick to bring a man in your house in your life. Like I said, with my husband, he was with his children's mother for 13 years, and he gave her three children. I was with him 3 years, and I told her, I said, listen, first year I date you. Second year, I didn't see how my children gonna work with you. Third year, at the third year, there's no more. I would not give you any other time than that. So on maybe about a month before our third year, he asked me to marry him because he knew he had never. I'm my husband's second girlfriend. His children's mother's his first girlfriend. And I told him this: I don't play those type of games, baby. You're not finna ride this milk wheel and get all this good loving and carrying on, and I'll have your last name somewhere else. If you want to leave today, I can't even take your last name to the bank and get a check. Oh no, 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 darling. What you will know is that my name is gonna be on that beneficiary, and it's gonna be in the last name because a man will marry what he loves, and he'll lay down with any opportunity that he gets. And see, a man sometimes will stick his in a bagel if it's woman. So you gotta pay attention to
Huh.
what's going on when
Huh.
it comes to
And
not only
men
just
know what
me
they
in a
want.
relationship, but just your self worth, entitlement to yourself. I'm very selfish
Men
with me because it's only
Okay.
one
men
of
know
us.
what they want immediately. Men, it don't take
Not
men
all men though.
a
Not all men
year,
though.
2 years,
Not
3 years to
not
figure out
all,
if they want you.
but
Oh,
most
you
of the
you
ones
Mature,
that I've
already know.
seen,
mature men know what they want.
Mature
mature
men
men,
But men,
know what they
men
want.
correct.
that are men that are followers, they only want what their homeboys want. They haven't gotten to
That's
that point
it.
in their life where they can be their own man. You know, right now they're most young guys they're trying to be the man that everybody else wants them to be, but not stepping into their own yet. That's how I feel.
I always take it back to like I feel like for every child, be it a guy, a boy or a girl in a household, the role of a man is
Mm,
vital. No matter
Right,
how you understand. I'm not saying there are no mothers out there who raise kids themselves that are not like that do it. Moms who do it will raise kids who like grew up without a man in the house and the child becomes like a stellar kid and everything. Hats off to them. Like I see them every day. I know some who did that. But I'm saying the role of a man in a home is very important, especially in the child's life, because when that child goes through certain things and like be you a boy or a girl, that man needs to be able to point that child in the right direction. We goes back to the whole stepfather thing, being
right,
suckers and stuff. It
Hmm.
ties everything back, circling back and saying if you cannot show up to positively add to that child's life,
Hmm.
get out of the way. Don't make it
right.
worse
I
Okay.
agree.
because
'Cause
don't
I'm
make
a
it
single
worse.
parent. I'm 34. I have two kids. My son is 7. My daughter's 12. And
Oh, you
I
say your
know
son how old? You say he 30?
you get on my nerves. Leave Justin alone. He's asleep. He would have said something to you. You know that. But and my kid is my daughter. She excels really well. She's gifted at talented classes, accelerated, meaning she learns fast, quicker than most kids. And she's a straight A student. She has AB on the road this year. She missed the principal's
Amen.
list by like maybe
Great
I think
job,
it was like
Mama.
4 points.
okay,
She's in
baby.
track. She's in track, AAU, and middle school. She does
You
dance
go,
and
girl.
theater, and she cheers. And she does very well. She performs very well in school, athletically. She pushes herself just as hard as she does academically. But when it comes to a man in my home, there's no man in my home. Because
Yeah.
at this point, like, I don't,
You can't just
I was in
allow
a
it to
relationship
bubble,
before,
yeah?
right? And it becomes a distraction.
Oh, there go Cricket Wireless again.
Going to the
Don't
woods.
do it
She
like
going to the
that.
woods. She going to the woods.
But
I
you
mean,
still have to be careful. It don't have to be a man. It could be a woman.
yeah,
You
no,
have
and
to be
that's what I'm
careful
saying. It
about
goes
who's in
back,
your home.
Right.
and
Let
You
it
me
have
goes
to
back
be
to what
careful
we're
about
saying.
again
let me say
who is
this.
in your home. And to reiterate, for not and for everybody else, we need you, black man. We need you.
I
So
agree.
I don't know what other people
Yeah,
say,
this
but
is true.
I need
I
my black man. I need my black brother, my black king. I need
Hey
we.
man, I
I
said
must
this
speak
today
for
to
the
my
I
masses.
need a
friend.
We
strong
need
black
you.
man.
I
I
said
don't
this
need no
today to
weak
my
black man. I need
friend.
a strong black man. But let me say this
Yes.
though. Most women, most single women, like me, a single parent, I'm not looking for a man to do anything for my kids. You know, it
Hmm.
not I'm not you're obligated to pass it along. My
Oh,
kids
she
have a
in and
relationship with
out.
their father, but even when they didn't, it was all mama.
Yeah.
I
And
run I
and
own two businesses.
yeah, exactly. And
I work from 11 at
that's
night to 4 in the morning.
so what I'm talking about also about the part about men being actively involved, like in your case, Ja, for example, you got a straight A student. Your daughter does track everything. She sees
Hmm.
you, she knows what you're doing,
Right,
she knows you're
right,
on top of things, and you do not give room for any shenanigans. You make her understand that, hey,
right,
mama's doing this because I love you, because I ain't got no man.
right.
Not like you don't have to tell her physically. She knows because when
Oh, I
kids
do.
grow up, they see it.
I do. I do. I still have to
Well,
reiterate
hold
that
Oh,
on.
I'm
because
just saying. I'm just saying, yeah.
Hold on.
at school.
Let me ask y'all this. Let me ask
Mhm.
this right here. Okay, I know, and it was great on that what we saying, but I got to bring this in since we saying the accolades. So we talking about the stepfather is cool and everything. That's dope. So with the stepfather being cool, let me ask this: is the stepfather more important than the biological father if he's been there longer, or by default is the biological father more important?
It'll be the stepfather, whoever was active and present in their
May the
lives.
best father win.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
can,
Amen.
I can. It's still subjective. It's still subjective.
I'm
You can
sorry
be there.
because
A stepfather,
They
a
got
stepfather, a
well,
stepdad, and a
sometimes it be that way,
stepfather.
but I'm
but
just gonna say this for
sometimes it could
example.
be both. Like my daughter
We
has
can.
an excellent father, and if I ever get married, or if I'm in a committed long-term relationship, and that man also is perfect in her life, and he's that example of the man that she should choose, and he can teach her how a man's supposed to, respect you and this, that, and other, then she's won. Because she has not only her biological father, but she has a stepfather who's the same, who's a replica of her father, probably. And so at that point, both win.
You
And
right.
Both get
I have a
You
lot of
don't.
accolades.
You
friends.
can.
I have a
Amen.
You
lot of
can. You
friends
can.
The question becomes
who have
this: who has
stepfathers.
seniority?
It's not a
Okay.
matter
All
of
right. All right.
seniority.
Wait a
I,
minute,
I,
hold on,
and
wait a
then,
minute. He wasn't finished.
Who showed up?
Okay,
Who
Exactly.
showed
Shut
up?
it
Jamaica,
Who
up.
showed up to be a
hold on. What you
father?
were gonna say, Jamaica?
okay. This is for example. I don't want to feel like I'm stepping over the line, but my son told my husband. He said, "Dad," he said, He said, "I know how to treat a woman because I saw how you treated my mother."
Okay.
Hmm.
Then
Mhm.
I have a situation where um, both of my daughters are in the military. My youngest, well, both of my girls, they walked in and enlisted in the military together. And her biological father was locked up for 16 years in prison.
Okay.
He's been out. He's been out now 4 years. Never really like only talked to her on the phone. Never really saw her or anything like that. I never put him on child. I have never put a black man on child support because that was my doing. I had to do my homework better. Had I did that better, I wouldn't have to do that. But um, my husband is going to be the one that's going to tap my daughter out when June gets here. And God forbid everything goes well and we willing to see that day. But her father is mad because she wants her stepdad to tap her out and not her biological father. She said that, Mom, he wasn't there. He said, Pop woke me up every morning for school, making sure we go to school every morning before we went to work. He said, when I had a problem, I couldn't call my biological father. He said I could only call on my pop who was there. He made me feel safe. I knew that if I'm with him, that he would lose his life for me. And so now my child's father is upset about it because he doesn't have her new cell phone number. He doesn't know if she's in the military. That's not my fault. If you keep up with your children, you should know what's going on. But like I told her, I said,
Jamaica,
I will, as your mother, make sure he knows that this because I don't exclude him, regardless of how she feels. I still include him in her life because I never want her to ever say that, Mom, you stopped me from having that shit with my dad. I always include him because one day me and him will still be we'll be grandparents, regardless of how we see each other. We're still
So
gonna share a bond, our grandchild one
let
day.
me ask you this then:
So I
is,
have to keep
is
an
it his,
open,
is it his
clean
fault
relationship.
that
I don't
man?
have to talk to my child's father. I don't have to. My child is 23 years old. My youngest is 23. We don't have to talk about nothing until it's time to talk about our daughter. Other than
So,
that, I don't dig in his life. I don't care who he's with. I don't care about what he's doing. I don't speak down on him. I don't speak bad at him, even though he didn't do nothing. I don't speak bad at him, regardless, because I need to stay face with my child, but simply because the simple fact that even though that's her dad, it's still her dad.
But let
It's
me
still
so
her
ask
is
dad.
you,
everyone saying
what is
is everyone saying stepdaddies are saviors more so than weak
My
men,
stepdaddy
or
was a savior.
what?
He was a savior.
so?
I'm
And that's
afraid
why
to
I
say
said in the
that.
beginning, it's
So,
subjective and it's based off of the personal experiences on each person. It's not. It's
Mhm.
some they may be suckers because there are some women out there who will take a man for granted, but there are majority of the women out there who won't. So it's subjective.
so let me ask you this: what I
Okay.
was saying, would it be his fault because he was locked up for 16 years? So is
It's
it
a choice he
necessarily
made.
his fault?
In a choice he
Well,
made.
let me
Yeah,
tell you what I
choice.
say. Everything is accountability. You are
Right.
responsible for what you do on this earth every single day. It's not your mama's fault. It's not your dad's fault. It's not the child's. It's not your boss's fault. You are accountable. You are responsible for what you do. So the thing is, a lot of people don't want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. See, had I listened to my
Mhm.
mother, had I looked and realized that I was too young to be having sex in the first place, see, I got to take accountability for what I did. I went and had protected. See, that man didn't rape me. That man didn't take that from me. I called my, it was feeling good, and they think, now I'm gonna let here come a baby. You see, I don't have to take responsibility as a woman. See, I could have
Right.
protected myself. We wouldn't even have this conversation about no stepdaddy, but I didn't. Guess what?
Right.
I never asked him for child support because I felt like if you can't be a father, don't mean I can't. That doesn't mean that I can't be a mother. I got to be mama and daddy, but I cannot raise a man. I cannot. I can raise a good man,
Right.
but I can't make a man. Be
Right.
a man.
Yeah,
I can
a
teach
warrior
him. I can
man.
give him
Right.
the right influences.
Eh,
I can
Yeah.
surround him with the greatest people
Absolutely.
in the world. I can make
Absolutely.
a good son, but I can't raise a man
Okay.
on my
I
own. I
totally
don't
and
care
to
agree.
who
speak
you
on
are,
that,
what you doing,
mailman,
what you got going on. It
my
takes a
father
man.
was
I gotta have a man. So when he's going through his first puberty or learning how you supposed to act when a girl says she don't like, it's certain things I'm gonna tell him as a mother. But it takes a man to give him much more game because a man know a man better than a woman, like a woman knows a woman. But when it comes to that part, I don't need to say that I don't need. I need my son to grow up to be a good person.
I respect
It
it.
takes two. My husband come from
Absolutely.
a two family
You
home.
was gonna say
I
Lorenzo?
came from a single parent home. There's a
I
difference.
could I could I could speak
There's
on
a
this
difference
because
in when
my
you have a
father
mother and a father in
was
your
locked
home
up
versus when you just got mama in
for
home. There's a
majority of my
difference, baby.
life.
We got to be stronger. Some of us mothers owe some of our sons and daughters some apology, but we
Hey,
ain't gonna talk about this.
hey, Jay, we see we didn't hit it. We didn't hit you with that one.
Well,
No,
yeah, keep going after that one.
Hey,
uh,
hey,
Keep going
God
Lorenzo,
because
damn it!
hey, let's
I
get it
love y'all, but just to say that, but I love y'all on this podcast. Everybody, girl.
what you about to say, Lorenzo?
my father was locked up for majority of my life. So growing up, I loved my father. You couldn't tell me nothing about my father. That was my daddy. My name is Lorenzo Torrance, Lorenzo Calvin Torrance. My father's name is Lorenzo Diggs Torrance. I am the third Lorenzo Torrance. I loved my father. I would choose my father any day over my mother. But it came a point in time where I grew up, and my mother she was good. She never kept me from him. I said I wanted to see my dad. She got up and she would drive me the 2 hours to go see my dad.
Okay.
She didn't question it, none of that. So it came a point in time where I was going, I was like, well, damn, he ain't never really here because he was always doing dumb shit and getting locked up. So the last time I was just like, damn, I really want him here. Like, don't disappoint me. He's like, yeah, man, I'm here for you. I'm here for you, son. Da da da. Got locked up again, and it was like, okay, I can't keep putting all my hopes in this man and mistreating the woman that's here for me, my mother and my grandmother. So eventually, I went off to the military. I haven't heard from this man for years. And the first time he called me, when I'm stationed in Osan, Korea, of course I'm excited. I ain't heard from my father in about 6 years. Like, yes, I'm happy.
So he
He asked
needed
me for
something,
money.
huh?
Needed
Yep,
some
that's
money to
how
go
it
on his
goes.
books. I'm like,
That's exactly how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
so
Classic,
so
classic.
fast forward, I'm
Classic, baby.
20, I'm 23 years old. My mother had my sister, Victoria Torrance, by my father. Luckily, blessed, we got the same dad. And I told him, he called me when I was on my way to New York to see his sister for the first time in my life. Me and my boyfriend my boyfriend was driving me up to New York to meet the other side of the family I had never met. So, and he just so happened to call me that night. And I said, look, I love you with all my heart, but I don't need you in my life. My sister needs you. Do right by her. Leave the shit alone. Do right by her. And we'll be good. He said, okay, I promise, son. I promise, promise, promise. What happened?
He
2
can
You
years
lock
got
up.
like
later,
that.
my grandmother was a very well known person, wedding decorator in Florida, and she knew a lot of people. She got him hooked up with a judge to do work for him. Nigga stole from a judge. Who does that?
Hey, your daddy a gangster.
Ooh,
Your daddy a
what the
gangster.
world?
That nigga said, don't nobody goddamn get up under the rug.
Ain't
Anybody get
nobody getting
motherfucker.
nothing.
Oh my God.
Anybody get up there, you the judge, they can send me to jail. You get it too. I'm taking that too.
I'm like,
Dang,
Mail,
man.
mailman.
He try
so
he trying to
that's
steal
that,
his
that's
rights
on him.
back.
Right.
Hey, at least when you went from the judge, if he had something the judge wanted, he could negotiate with him.
Right.
And he
Negotiate
did,
with
but
that one right there. You know, hey judge, I know I stole this from you, but if you want it back, you know, you drop the
You
ball.
gotta put it in my
not some
record or
time
something.
off, not some years off.
Too
But
much.
that's what I'm saying.
Hey,
And
That's
you
that
ain't
he
even
has
stealing
no
this ain't me no
accountability.
more.
I drink to that.
hey, I love it, man. I love it. Okay, y'all, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up, but I got one more question.
Yeah.
I have had a great time.
Thank
But
you.
the final question is:
All right, come on, y'all.
Does the
I gotta go to
biological
work. Come on.
father have to keep does the biological father have to keep the stepfather in the loop, or is that the woman's responsibility? So,
That's a woman.
That's a woman.
That's a
At
woman because
first.
her relationship is with both of them. And they don't got.
Both of
I mean,
them.
now if they have a relationship with each other, then they, you know, what I'm saying that's something that they have a bond or whatever, you know, then maybe. But that's a woman's responsibility.
I
Come
agree.
on, y'all.
Let me let me
I
let
gotta go
me
to
let
work.
me rephrase
I'm
let me
not
rephrase that question kind of let me
well.
rephrase that question. Based on what you said in the loop, the question is whose house is the child staying under? Is it the stepfather's
Let's
house?
say the child
Then
stand up under the stepfather's house,
okay, so if he stays under the stepfather, if he stays
and the mother
it's not
and the child is staying with it. Or, let's put it this way: it's the mother and the child and the
hmm
stepfather are all staying in the same house together.
okay.
Does that father have to, the biological, do he have to keep that stepfather in the loop of what's going on with his biological child?
Yes.
If he
Oh
has a
Yes.
yeah,
rapport,
Yes.
absolutely, yes.
if he has a
Yes.
rapport with the stepfather, yes. If he doesn't,
It's a unit.
the mother has to let him know because he lives under
Yeah.
the house.
I
So
disagree with that.
it's courtesy. It's
I
courtesy.
disagree with that. It's not my kids is my kids. Anything
Uh,
if I'm
No.
coming to pick up my kids and
you can leave one day.
if I'm
Somebody got to do that. Mm-mm.
if I'm going to pick my kids up, only person that was there when I made it was me and my kids' mama. So only person I need to let know
Y'all
that I'm
going
coming
to
to pick up my kids
Uh,
is my kid's mother. Now she can
That's a
tell
different
him
ballgame. Yeah, yeah,
objective.
yeah. Yeah,
Objective.
that's a different. That's subject. Like that.
That's a
What you're
different
saying
mode.
is
That's an
that's
objective.
normal.
Because
It
let me tell you
also
something, mailman. That man is sleeping under the roof with your child every day. I would have a great relationship with somebody, with a man that's sleeping with my child over
Amen.
my child's
Oh,
head.
no.
You know why? Because
No.
it takes maturity to
Don't
have a
forget.
great conversation. See, my husband and my child's father have a great relationship because I stand out of the way and I let these two men to figure out how can they create a great relationship for the sake of my child. Because if I don't have a great relationship with the dad, it creates strife, it creates stress for the child. It makes it hard for the child. You make the child feel like a child heart can love you and a stepdad and a great granddaddy too. a child heart is big. It's not because that child loves you or that child is spending more time with the stepfather than he is you by life, right? Right. Whether you
And
go 1 week on the weekend to pick him up versus you
This way.
picking him up, that stepfather come home every day, seeing that child. You see him on
yep.
on a
Only
48-hour basis. He see him on an everyday basis. It's a difference. You want a great relationship with the person that's sleeping in the house with your child.
But the only reason why the child is coming home every day with the stepfather is because the mother is dating the stepfather. That's the only reason. But the father might be getting the child every other week, or might be getting them every other weekend, or might be getting them. They might have them 2 weeks. It could be split. So that's only.
It could be true, but ask yourself this. If say mom not there to pick up the child from school, and you got to call stepdad, what's the difference?
No, if mom can't pick them up, I'm coming.
Well, not only that, that man is choosing.
Put that on to the. I'm not gonna never put my responsibility on another.
It's not
but you don't own time though, mailman. You don't own.
Right.
You can have the greatest intention, but it does not always work out the way that we want it to work.
Exactly.
That is very true.
He may be there, and he may be there. So you don't want to ever disrespect him. You want to have that respect, that man-to-man respect. Okay,
exactly.
Choosing to be in my child's life and do right by my child.
I'm good with that.
That is another level of protection. God,
that's another level of maturity.
No, I would say this. I don't have no problem with being respectful to him. I believe you should be respectful at all times. So I'm agreeing with y'all on the respect part. You should respect everybody. But the part that I don't agree with is I don't have to check in and update him of what's going on with my child. I'll
tell you this part right here, mailman. Let's just say it like this: if that stepfather around your child, and that child, your child may have a relationship with their stepdad, regardless of what you think. That child may have a relationship with their stepfather just as similar to you as yours.
That might be
when you put a cap on it. I understand. I exactly understand where you come from. But this was the thing for me as a mom of a blessed. I call blessed children. When it came to anything I wanted to know, I would talk to the child's mother. Me and Sam, we got the hey Cassandra, what's going on? Oh, so I hear Jalen going on. See, we built a unit. That child gets to feel secure that I'm okay to love my dad. I'm okay to love my stepdad. I'm okay. Your responsibility doesn't have to always be because somebody's doing it for you. Recognize a blessing. Because you can go and work every day. That doesn't mean that child is not going to come into contact with somebody other than you.
That's true.
That is very other than you. So if that man is good enough to feed your child, be in the house with your child, treat your child right, and do right by your child. You as the father.
Who's to say that he's good enough? That might just be the man that the mom picked.
Right, right. But if your child loves that child, a child don't just love nobody that ain't good. Remember that.
Amen.
A child will love what is good.
If you're right, if they do them right, then I'm all for it. If you do them right, if you doing my children right, like I do, let me show you this.
But you have to give them opportunity.
I guess it's kind of tough for me because all 4 of my kids have lived with me in their entire life. So
exactly. You're used to that. You're used to having that thing with them. And you don't want to share it with nobody else. It's just like the stepfather effect. I don't want to share that with you. But they're mine, and he want to share that with you, but you're not allowing it. It causes friction.
My kid's mom, whatever, even all her boyfriends, I done known a couple of boyfriends. Out of all the ones she had, 2 or 3 of them has been cool. But when I was in relationships, my kid's mom didn't have to tell my girlfriend at the time.
That's girlfriend. You said stepdad. It's different.
Okay.
Legally, by court of law, that man that's a stepfather is legal, has rights to your child. He's legally has rights to your child. Legally.
That part, I ain't never been married, so I don't know the marriage
side.
Exactly.
Once your child's mother marries another man, legally, he can put that child on his health insurance, all of those things. Legally, he is responsible for your child just like you.
That's only if the biological father has not been legitimized. if the biological father has been legitimized in Georgia, then the legal, if he's legitimized, and if he have legal physical and legal
Custody.
it's two of them.
Custody.
It's legal physical and legal I can't think of the name of it. I had to go through. It's two of them. I can't think of it right now, but it's two of them.
But it still goes way deeper into the fact of outside of the legal thing. Outside, it's totally completely outside of the legal thing.
Now,
Okay.
morally wise, it's cool. Again, I'm glad. I can be cordial with you. I can hold a conversation. Like my boyfriends, I have no problem. To deal with them. They didn't come. One of them, they didn't came and work with me in my businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not running nothing like say, hey, I'm coming over there to pick up Diamond today. I just want to let you know. No, I'm coming. I'm calling my daughter. If my daughter stayed with them, hey, Diamond, I'm on my way to come get you. Be ready. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Now my kids,
So you don't call you don't involve the mom. You just say, Diamond, I'm coming to come get you. That's it.
Oh no, I communicate with their mom. If I would communicate with their mom if my kids didn't live with me, I would have communicated with their mom, and then she could relate a message to him, and then but as far as
that's the problem too. So a lot of women are picking boyfriends. See, ain't nothing boy about a whole grown man. There's nothing boy about a whole grown man. So I don't even believe in that terminology of my boyfriend. That is crazy to me. You are wife material, husband material, or you simply are not.
Yeah.
It's simple. See, we put too many titles on things before we actually drive the damn boat. You understand what I'm saying? Like I told, I don't know how to be no girlfriend and all that. I know how to be a wife. And I have been for 13 years. But before that, I knew how to be a single woman. But other than that, I like to keep communication good because when you have a good relationship and maturity all the way around, it creates a healthy environment. That's the most important thing, is creating a healthy environment.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
I think Jamaica had a point too when she talks about her kid's mother. She doesn't refer to him as stepmother. This, that, she refers to her as mother. I think most people, I won't even just say men, most people, when they get into the situations, they refuse or have a hard time going back to that pride thing as seeing the co-parent, the stepfather, stepmother as a parent, as a father, as a mother, and not just as somebody that's who they with. That I don't want them raising my fucking kid. This, that, and the third.
Exactly, baby. I had a situation where my daughter. I'm gonna say because you talking my step. My black daughter took me out to the botanical garden for Mother's Day and didn't do anything for her biological mother. Not only does it say, and I spoke with her, I said, Shay, I said, I understand you might feel a type of way, but that's your mom. You only get one. Time is something we don't own. You understand? She said, yes, ma'am. I said, baby, I understand. I said, when you done with me, you make it your business to go talk to your mama. And you go sit down and talk and tell her what you feel. You are an adult now. You are an adult. Tell her what you feel. And my husband, he said, that's crazy because she took you out and then take her mom out. See, you have to be on an accord, on one accord. One sound, one child, one love, one accord. If everybody loves that child and does what's best for that child, you get a great human being, a great human. You don't want nobody to feel like I can't talk to you because my daddy's gonna get mad or my mama gonna get. You put children in boxes when you do that.
Now I agree with you.
Allow them to love. Trust the love that they love. If they love somebody or somebody, it's because they showed the same thing in return. It's not taken away from you as a father. It's not taking anything away from you. It's only aiding in being great people.
I definitely agree with you on that. Definitely make sure that the child is getting love genuinely. The only thing I'm just not doing is just one little thing is,
and I get it. I get it.
I call her, but she gonna have to call him.
Right.
That's the only. Right.
Well, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here too. But I love this conversation we had, you guys.
This has been a very, very good conversation. I love it.
Yes.
Y'all don't think about I Am Mailman podcast, man. We get y'all gonna get the BS. Y'all gonna get the good, y'all gonna get the in between, y'all gonna get it all, man. And everybody get to share their opinion, man. There's none biased
That's
speak
right.
like
Word.
and that's what I'm building over here with the I Am Mailman brand, man. So I let everybody close it out. They can wrap it up on which what they feel on the topic, what they consider to being a simple a sucker, well, a savior or a sucker. And then we'll go from Wale and work our way on. Wale, would you call him a sucker or a savior? Which one?
I'm always looking for the good, man. I don't think of the savior, man.
Okay, he's the savior in. Okay, all right. Jamaica, he a sucker, he a
A
savior.
savior. A savior. Thank you. Thank you, Father. I appreciate you.
All right, Charlize, is he a sucker? Is he a savior?
I said savior.
Okay. All right, Lorenz, what we got? Is he a sucker? Is he a savior?
If a man is stepping up to be a father, he's a savior.
He'll
1000%.
savior.
Yep.
Okay, man. Well, y'all heard everybody. Let me tell y'all my opinion like this. I do believe he a savior. I don't believe a man is a sucker for dating a woman that has kids. You know what I'm saying? Because if you flip the role about look at all the men out here that's got kids and the women are dating them. So
Oh.
you can't just look at it
Mhm.
as it's okay for a woman to date you
When
and
they
you
talk,
got
they
kids.
touch on that one, let that go.
You can't goddamn you can't try to
Let
flip
that
the
go. We'll be
role,
on here an hour.
my fellas, y'all gotta look at the same time. Some of y'all dudes walking around here with multiple baby mamas, then you go out here and lie to a woman and tell her you ain't got no kids just to come to sucker her in and get her pregnant. So if you want these women to date you and you got kids, not consider that woman as a sucker and look at her as a savior, then you can't look at look at a woman or another man for dating a woman and bringing joy to her life. So I don't think it's a problem with nobody dating nobody that got kids, man. As long as your intentions is right and you
Hmm.
do the right thing, that's all that matter. Like Jamaica said, you know, everybody got to bring love and bring joy to that child heart. You got to do the right thing. So my brother, you not no sucker. You not no sucker, man. Just don't do no sucker shit. That's it.
Sucker free, baby. Sucker free.
Sucker free.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
we about to get ready to get up out of here. The new Mailman website is getting built right now. If y'all go to immailman.com, you're going to get the new website logo that's popping up on there telling you the new website is coming, but it will be here real soon. It's going to be a subscription-based website where you're going to have to pay to get out of goodies, but I promise you, I got so much sweet stuff coming for you.
Yes.
It's gonna be dope. We got Jamaica here, y'all. I want y'all to learn this young lady here. She does everything with movies behind the scenes. So if y'all need anything with movies, me and her got a personal interview
Yeah.
that we did, and we're
And I
gonna be
told you too, make sure you look for the seat fillers. It's coming up for BET Awards in LA.
see
I'll
right
You
I'll put
good,
you on
girl?
to that later in a little bit.
there, y'all. That's why I'm telling y'all. You get to find out things because I know people. These are the things that you're gonna learn because not only from I Am Mailman do you just get to hear me run my mouth. You're gonna be able to make connections be able to put you in position to help you if you're willing to let somebody help you. And I want to give Jamaica all her roses for all the
Oh, baby,
information
thank
that
you.
she has given me. I want to give Wale the dope credits for him, man, from being him through Mary, because every time this brother always show up, man, he
Shit.
always has his opinion. He come in, we have a great
Yeah.
time when we go on trips. Lorenzo, super dope, man. I want to give him his roses, man. This brother here show out. We have a good time. We just recently came back from Colombia and we turned up, man. Had a great time, man. And Jolly,
Yeah.
and me and Jalisa, y'all know on videos that y'all done seen me and her go at each other, Nick, but I love her, man. That's my
Love
homie,
you too,
man.
man.
We stay going back and forth, and we have good times whenever we do things, man. So everybody on this podcast, man, has a
Hmm.
very special reason to be into my life, and you have to always give people their roses and let them know thank you
Thank
for everything
you.
that they bring into your life.
Yep.
Amen. Thank
So,
you.
we up out of here,
Thanks,
man.
man.
Hey,
Great
All right.
job, mailman.
Time to
Love
go check
y'all.
the mail. Gotta
Good
go.
night.
Round of
Check the
applause,
mail.
buddy.
we out
Good
of here.
night,
Love
y'all.
Good
All right,
night.
we
Good
out, man.
night.
Love
Y'all have a
y'all.
good one. Ciao.